Alan Bestwick could be returning to TV to call racing, and Hailie Deegan announces her 2025 plans. Welcome into the Breaking Balls channel. It's Bob here. I am still trying to come down from the news that shook the racing world last night. Alex Bowman disqualified from the roval and subsequently removed from the NASCAR playoffs. Joey Logano keeps the even year streak alive for now. We're going to shake it off. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'll keep you in the loop for all things racing. I've got my roval thoughts on the channel. Go check that out from this weekend. Bad week for the 48 teams in both Xfinity and Cup Series. But some news that I think slid under the radar a little bit. It makes my childhood nostalgia feel very full. I am 28 years old. If you ask me what the ideal broadcast pairing is, Fox and NBC had it in the 2000s. Of course, Mike Joy, Larry Mack, and DW were iconic, but also NBC. Alan Bestwick, Benny Parsons, and Wally Dallenbach. And unfortunately, Wally Dallenbach has no plans to return to racing, but it sounds like Alan Bestwick could be gracing us on our screens soon enough. Alan Bestwick currently is the Indy Motor Speedway public address announcer, as well as the Yukon women's basketball announcer. I think this tweet kind of flew under the radar with all of the news this weekend, but Jenna Fryer of the AP responded to someone's tweet as IndyCar is joining Fox for their broadcast deal in 2025 and beyond. Of course, that includes their Indy 500 coverage, which is one of the biggest racing broadcasts in the world. And with that, everyone wants to know, who's the broadcaster going to be? Everyone just assumed that Kevin Lee would follow the coverage from NBC to Fox with IndyCar as he took over for Lee Diffie midway through the season. But that may not be the case at all, as Jenna Fryer responded that Alan Bestwick might be on the coverage for Fox's Indy 500 broadcast. Oh my goodness, listen, that's worth the deal already if you're asking me for IndyCar. Not only are they going to be on broadcast for every race, but they could have Alan Bestwick potentially calling races. This is as good as it gets for a racing fan, unless you're going to bring Wally Dolan back. Alan Bestwick is one of the best broadcasting voices as well. And for NASCAR fans, I think it's kind of a big miss because they have 4 broadcasters next year with Amazon and TNT joining the fold. There was a small hope, at least inside of me, that Alan Bestwick would join the NASCAR broadcast for at least one of those partners. But no, it sounds like he could be on the Fox coverage for at least the Indy 500. I know he is the home track announcer there, so he wouldn't have to go far. But a massive, massive W for the IndyCar broadcasting rights for Fox there. Adding a legendary voice like Alan Bestwick's to an already iconic race with the Indy 500. Massive, massive win for IndyCar fans all around. Of course, this is a developing story, so stay tuned and let me know your thoughts down below about Alan Bestwick potentially being on the Indy 500 coverage. Let's stay in the IndyCar open wheel world as Hailie Deegan announced her plans for the 2025 season today, just hours after a Racer.com article came out saying that she had only focus on NASCAR for the future. Turns out that's not quite true. Maybe they should have double-checked with their sources there before they let that story go, as Hailie Deegan announced her plans to run Indy NXT, the developmental series for the IndyCar series, full-time in the 2025 season. Deegan will run the HMS Motorsports number 38 entry. She'll get her first test this weekend at Indianapolis and get her feet wet, as she's never had open wheel experience before. But Hailie Deegan, obviously a polarizing figure in the racing community with the last name Deegan, it obviously brings expectations and pressure. She brings sponsorship, funding, a massive social media following. But she's young, and the results haven't been there as far as the NASCAR world. Her previous stint with AM Racing in the Xfinity Series, you saw her removed halfway through the season right before the Chicago street race. Although in Deegan's defense, that car has not performed well since her removal. Her past in the truck series was very lackluster, but again, she's young. She had shown promise in the ARCA K&M series when she was younger. I think she's just gotten moved up the ladder too fast, and maybe that NASCAR wasn't her thing, or maybe it's just she needed some fresher, greener pastures there. But for Hailie Deegan, I think that there is still potential there, and Deegan is great for the sport. She brings a lot of eyeballs, sponsorship, new fans to the sport. It's just, can she get those results? But for Indy and NXT, it's a massive win. You got to keep the expectations low. I know everyone will be unfair with Deegan, even though she's never had open wheel experience, but give her some grace. She's in Indy NXT for a reason. It's a developmental series, so let her get her feet wet. We'll see what happens there, but I'm glad to see that Hailie Deegan at least has a place for 2025 in the racing community. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you in the loop for all NASCAR and racing news here at Breaking Balls. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.